What's up, everyone? Welcome to UFC Singapore Every Fight Breakdown. I am Andy Lang from WagerTalk.com. We're going to go through every fight on the card. Hopefully, we can bring you some more winners. We have our best bet for the card up at WagerTalk.com. 2-0 last week in official plays. I thought something fun that we could do moving forward is we can go over our best bet and worst bet from the video last week so we can brag a little bit and make fun of ourselves. So, what was my worst prediction last week? Well, I was trying to pick underdogs, and I thought Andrea Lee would look good against Natalia Silva. That was just foolish. Thank God I didn't make it an official play, but I was trying to pick underdogs. That one did not work. However, my other underdog that I liked was Sean O'Malley over Aljamain Sterling. Just thought Sterling's wins were a little bit suspect, the last four of them. And sure enough, O'Malley just looked great from the very beginning, gets the really nice knockout. So lost one on a horrific call on Andrea Lee, but a really nice read on Sean O'Malley. So let's get into UFC Singapore, every fight on the card. Here we go. We are going to start with Seung Choi versus Jarno Errens. So my biggest question about this fight is Choi's chin just gone? His fights are exciting, no doubt about that. But he's lost three in a row. He just loves to stand toe to toe with his opponents and just exchange shots. He doesn't block very many of his opponent's shots. In his last fight, didn't even make it through the first round. He got knocked down several times and then eventually finished. So the question is Errens that guy? Is Errens that guy to land the big shot on Seung Choi? His last fight was his UFC debut against Gomes, and Gomes was able to take him down several times. Gomes controlled the ground game. Errens showed me very little on the feet in the striking department. So we're kind of left with this, Choi, he's obviously taken a lot of damage on that chin, but can Errens find it? And Choi is going to force Errens to stand and strike. If Errens can clip the chin of Seung Choi, he could easily finish. I just don't think he's got that kind of power. I don't think he's ready for the war that Choi is going to make him get into. And I think Choi ends up clipping Errens, and I got Choi to win this one. However, it's minus 250 right now, looking at the odds. I mean, Tapology says minus 200. On the books at the time of recording this, it's minus 250. There's no shot I'm laying minus 250 on Choi. No way he's making it into parlays. This fight is a stay away. There's a lot of other really good betting opportunities on this card. For me, there's no reason to get involved with this fight. So I lean Choi, but if Errens does clip him on the chin, don't be surprised if Choi goes down. I just don't think Errens has that kind of power. So next fight, Na Liang and JJ Aldrich. Listen, I'm sure Na Liang is a very nice person. I'm sure she's cool to hang out with, but she is not a UFC caliber fighter, and this fight should not be close. Na Liang's 0-2 in the UFC. She got finished in both. Not the great competition. Aldrich has lost two in a row, but to Blanchfield and Lipsky after she won three straight in the UFC. This is such a nice get right spot for her. This is just gifted on a silver platter. JJ Aldrich should beat the brakes off of her. Listen, Aldrich is not the finishing type, but if you are going to finish someone, it's Na Liang. So I think Aldrich is a great parlay piece. I mean, it's juiced. It's minus 600. I've seen minus 700 as well. If you want to wait until the props come up and take Aldrich to win inside the distance, my guess is you're going to get a really good price on that. I mean, Aldrich doesn't finish, but against Na Liang, yeah, absolutely, she could finish. So Aldrich is a pretty easy pick. It's listen, I don't want to say, that minus 700 is my most confident pick because it's pretty obvious, but let's be honest, Aldrich is going to win against Na Liang outside of Aldrich, tripping over the steps on the way into the ring. Up next, Yusaku Kinoshita versus Billy Goff. I think this is going to be a really entertaining fight, especially in the first round. I hope these guys save their gas tank because I want to see 3 rounds. You got 2 Contender Series winners facing off here. I just think it's going to be a war on the feet. Kinoshita likes to stand and bang. He showed that on Contender Series and in his UFC debut against Adam Fugit. If you could expose Kinoshita's lack of wrestling defense, though, Kinoshita can leave himself open to strikes on the feet. So, not great defense from Kinoshita. And Billy Goff kind of resembles Kinoshita a little bit. He loves to stand and bang. His holes in his striking defense as well. He is a little bit of a decent wrestler. I think he can utilize that against Kinoshita. We know Goff is really tough. He showed it on Contender Series. He ate a huge shot, recovered quickly. But Kinoshita is better than Billy Goff's opponent on Contender Series. So Billy Goff is going to need to improve a little bit, and so is Kinoshita. Both of them need to improve defensively. I worry about the cardio of Goff. I thought Goff's cardio was starting to fall and fall fast. So it's going to be a lean on Kinoshita because I think if it gets out of the first round, this is Kinoshita's to win, as I believe he's going to kind of out cardio Goff. You got him at a little bit of a favorite here at minus 150. I think those odds sound about right. It's a lean. I can't say it's a really, really strong play. To not go the distance might be a decent look because in the first round, either of these guys could go down with their lack of defense. I'm probably not going to make it to the window on anything. It's a lean on Kinoshita, and it's a lean to not go the distance in this one. Kenan, Seung, and Rolando. Bedoya, if you were like me, you bet on Chaos Williams against Bedoya in Bedoya's UFC debut, and you were terrified when Bedoya looked really good in his UFC debut. He almost beat Chaos Williams. Williams looked terrible. Bedoya took it on very, very short notice. What I was impressed with, he was absolutely not scared of the moment. He enjoyed himself in there. He looked fantastic on his feet with his striking, and he showed really good cardio on short notice, really good movement on the feet, and now he gets a full fight camp. Um, Song has lost two straight. He leaves his face really, really wide open, so accurate strikers can absolutely piece him up. So he's a good counter striker, but over 3 rounds, I just think he takes way too much damage. He has 4 wins in the UFC. All those opponents are no longer in the UFC, and he's lost to the 3 good opponents he's faced. I worry about a little bit of the hype machine on Bedoya. I mean, like, listen, he did lose to Chaos Williams when Chaos Williams looked terrible. So it's not like Bedoya came out and won. He just had a good showing in short notice, and now he gets a full camp. Minus 275, listen, it's probably accurate. I think it's a little bit too juicy just because I don't want to. I mean, Bedoya short notice against Chaos Williams, he looks good, and now he's going over to Singapore to fight. This is a lot for Bedoya to take in, so I'm a little bit worried about this one. I will say this: I do like this one to start round 2. I Bedoya, listen, his striking looked good, but it certainly didn't look like knockout power. And Kenan Song is tough. I just think Song absorbs too much over the course of a fight. So I don't Bedoya, I thought, did a good job moving out of the way of some of the strikes. So I don't think either one of these guys goes down in the first round. I think it could be a pretty intense, pretty good first round, but I'm not seeing either of these guys going down. I think it makes it to round 2. So I think a parlay piece to start round 2 would be a good one. I like Bedoya's defense. Bedoya didn't show much power, so not predicting an early finish in this one. Minus 275 is way too much for me. I'm not going to bet on Bedoya. I need to see him at least win. He needs to win a UFC fight before I can start laying this kind of money on him, especially with some of the other pieces on this card. Up next, Chidi Njokuani against Michal Oleksiejczuk, and this is going to be on the feet, my guess is. I think it's a tough fight to predict. The odds show it. It's almost even. You're looking at minus 120 on Oleksiejczuk and even money on Chidi. So, 2 fights ago, Chidi does the incredible damage to Gregory Rodriguez, but he tired himself out trying to get the finish, and he ends up getting finished himself by Rodriguez. Next fight was against Albert Duryev, and he looked tentative. I thought he was trying to manage his cardio, but he tried like way too hard. Maybe he had a bad weight cut that I wasn't aware of, but his strikes did not have much pop on them, and it cost him. Lost a split decision. He did not look great. Oleksiejczuk is a striker who I think is going to have success on the feet against Chidi. Michal Oleksiejczuk's, like, when we go look at him, I think I've had a pretty good read on Oleksiejczuk. I know we took Dustin Jacoby against him. I know we bet it. Of course, we bet on him against Sam Alvey. We did definitely bet against him bet on him against Cody Brundage, and then his Achilles heel is the takedown. Kai Barala put on a clinic against him. So Oleksiejczuk's not the wrestler grappler type. He likes to stand on the feet and strike, and Chidi will probably be much obliged to do that. Here's the thing: if Chidi comes out and looks tentative, Oleksiejczuk's going to really piece him up. Chidi's going to have to move forward and try and get Oleksiejczuk out of the pocket and kind of get him on the back foot. I just don't know what kind of Chidi we're going to get here. Do we get the aggressive one? Do we get the guy that almost knocked out Rodriguez, or do we get the guy that just didn't look that aggressive in his last fight? So to me, tough fight. It's a stay away. I think this one starts round 2 because I think neither of these guys are going to go down from the other one striking. We get these two strikers. I think we get a few minutes of kind of feeling each other out and trying to figure out the range. So this is one that I like to start round 2. But without knowing what kind of Chidi and Njokuani we're going to get, I really can't say. If I was forced to make a pick, I would go with Oleksiejczuk because I think he's a little bit better known commodity, and I think I know what I'm going to get from him. But tough one to predict. Toshiomi Kazama versus Garrett Armfield. So Kazama likes to wrestle. Listen, he kind of had a bummer. Technically his UFC debut was on the road to UFC finale, and he just got sparked by Nakamura in 33 seconds. But Nakamura is going to be in the UFC for a while. So I think Kazama's probably going to want this fight to take place on the ground. Armfield held his own against David Onama in his UFC debut. That was a fight he took on pretty short notice. Armfield is not a great striker, but I think he's going to be better on the feet than Kazama. And if he can force Kazama into a striking battle, I think Armfield has the advantage. But if Kazama can get it on the ground, maybe he can, kind of have the advantage there on the ground. So, Kazama's utilized his wrestling, but I think it's against lesser competition. I don't know if it's going to work against Armfield or not. Listen, I like this one to start round 2, and I'll go a step further and say that I think this one goes the distance. Maybe over 2.5 rounds if that prop is available. Neither guy really impresses me with their striking. The wrestling should be fairly close. I don't see a finish in this fight. I think it goes the distance. So if we're looking at fights to go the distance, this one I definitely like. So picking a side, I think the lines are about right. -165 on Armfield. That's kind of where I would put it, just because I think Armfield's fought a little bit better competition. I don't know if Kazama's wrestling is going to work. Not really a strong pick on either side, but I do like this one to go the distance. That's a pretty confident play in this one. Waldo, Cortes-Acosta, Lucas, Brezski. I've heard announcers pronounce this guy's name a million different ways, so I'm going with Brezski. I've heard Dresky. I've heard it all, so maybe I'll just call him Lucas. All right, so listen, Lucas has had a rough start to UFC career. He won on Contender Series, then he fails a drug test. He loses to Martin Bedoya in a very strange split decision where Lucas way outlanded Bedoya, but he was wearing a lot of damage. So Bedoya gets the split decision win. Then he gets out wrestled for 3 rounds in a loss to Carl Williams. His cardio was bad in that fight, but here's the thing with Lucas. On the feet, his cardio is not horrific. But when he's being wrestled, his cardio is just non-existent. So Carl Williams he's a wrestler. That's what his game is. Waldo Cortes-Acosta is not. And I'm looking at these lines, and I think these lines are bonkers. Cortes-Acosta almost -300. There is no shot I'm putting Acosta in a parlay. In fact, I think it's worth a sprinkle on Lucas in this one. So, I mean, Waldo Cortes-Acosta, he didn't exactly have the best cardio in the world. He tends to fall apart. And against in his last fight, Marcos Rogerio de Lima, listen, De Lima controlled him on the mat. De Lima did what he wanted with the leg kicks. I mean, he kind of dominated Cortes-Acosta. And in that fight against Martin Bedoya, I mean, Lucas landed, 119 significant strikes. So if this fight stays on the feet, I think Lucas is going to have more volume. And we've seen Cortes-Acosta be very low volume at times. We've seen him be controlled. And if Lucas has decent cardio on the feet, I think he's going to be a live dog going into the third round. And if Acosta starts to slow in that third round and we get one of these classic 1-1 situations, I'm going to be happy to be holding a ticket on Lucas because I don't think Cortes-Acosta is going to be able to do the damage that Bedoya and De Lima did. So I would not be surprised to see Lucas Brezski keep or get his first win here in the UFC. If you're looking for an underdog, I think this is the best one at big odds. So I think it's a sprinkle. I think it's close on the feet. This is another one that will probably start round 2. I don't think either one of these guys are knocking the other one out in the first round. So this is another one that will start round 2. You can put that in your parlays as well. All right, next fight. Junior Tafa and Parker Porter. I think I'm going to surprise people with this. Does everyone know Parker Porter's 4-2 in his last 6 fights in the UFC? And one of his losses is to Jailton Almeida? Not bad. So I think he's going to make it 5-2. I like Parker Porter over Junior Tafa here, and we're getting him at some plus money, and I love it. We know Junior Tafa has power on the feet, no doubt. But in his UFC debut, oh my gosh, gigantic hole in his game. That is the clinch and takedown. Muhammad Usman wins unanimous decision by making it a boring fight against the cage, gets Tafa on the ground. He gets the win. And I got to tell you, I think Parker Porter can do the exact same thing. Parker Porter is not going to want to stand and bang with Junior Tafa. That is not Parker Porter's strong suit. And I have a little bit of extra motivation as to why Parker Porter is not going to want to stand and bang against Junior Tafa. I think he's going to shoot for takedowns real quick and he's going to push against the cage immediately. Why? Because 2 fights ago, he got knocked out by Junior Tafa's brother, Justin Tafa. There is no way Parker Porter wants to be the guy who got knocked out by both Tafa brothers. The Parker Porter is going to stay out of the way of that big shot from Junior Tafa. And if Junior Tafa doesn't land the big shot, I just think he doesn't look like a very good fighter. So I have Parker Porter making it 5-2. By the way, you'll win a bet if you quiz people on that one. What's Parker Porter's record in his last 6 fights? I think this is Parker Porter's, and then you're getting a little bit of plus money. So Parker Porter is underrated. I think Junior Tafa is low level when you take out the big shot. Parker Porter avoids the big shot. I think he takes it. So Erin Blanchfield and Taila Santos. All right, so Taila Santos, we haven't seen her in a while. Last time we saw her, it was against Shevchenko, and she has the dreaded fractured orbital bones, which required surgery, and those just don't. You're a different fighter after that. I mean, look at Rob Font. After he got his face mashed in against Vera, anytime he gets touched now on the face, it just blows up. I worry about that for Taila Santos. I love Taila Santos's fight style, but she's going up against a machine here. Blanchfield, Blanchfield just looks like she's on a mission towards a title shot. I'm certainly not going to bet against her. Her game has evolved so much since she's been in the UFC. She's finished her last 3 opponents with submissions. It's that serious injury it just really bothers me. I handicap golf as well. Anytime you have a golfer with a wrist injury or a back injury, like look out. And this orbital bone issue that Santos has, maybe it doesn't bother her, but I would not surprise me if she's a little bit tentative and if Blanchfield can touch her on that area, it might make Santos a little bit cautious. So I just think Blanchfield is going to implement takedown games. She's going to work hard to get Santos to the ground. Santos has a good ground game, no doubt about against that. We saw it several times against Shevchenko. I just think Blanchfield is next level right now. Very, very active, constantly hunting for submissions. And I think we're getting a fair price. I mean, you're getting Erin Blanchfield at minus 150. Not too many fighters are you going to get Blanchfield at minus 150 against. So I think Blanchfield is worth a play if you want to play it just on the money line. I'm all for it, even though I'm a Taila Santos fan. Just that injury just worries me way too much. So give me cold-blooded Erin Blanchfield to continue her run in the UFC. So, guys, if this is your first time joining us or watching the UFC videos, first off, thank you. If you could give me a like and subscribe, that would be amazing. You're going to listen to the rest of these videos because I believe we've got some great bets coming up. And if you have not seen our other work on the Wager Talk YouTube channel, we do our Road to Millions video series, which is every week. And if you do not know what the Road to Millions is, it's our program to help you increase your bankroll exponentially over a period of several years using the plays that we use for our own bankrolls. We use wagers in markets the books are not 100% dialed in with their numbers to take advantage. We look at our bankrolls like a stock portfolio. That's what it is. It's investing. We look at our wagers like investing in stocks, but with much better returns. For example, the stock market is up 4.9% this year. We are up 89%. Fully transparent. We do videos every day on this channel. We bet every single one of our own plays. We take you along our journey, and we bet all of our own plays, and you should as well. So we're having a really, really good year, and hope to see you guys on the videos. All right, let us move to the next fight, and we are, oh boy, poor Fernie Garcia here. He's probably going to get finished early by Rinya Nakamura. This fight does not need a whole lot of breakdown. If you've not seen Nakamura, this guy is an absolute monster. He started wrestling at the age of 5. His dad was big into wrestling. In 2020, Nakamura makes the jump from wrestling to MMA. And it turns out he can strike as well as wrestling. This guy's got a real bright future in the UFC. I think he's going to be around for a while. He's a buzzsaw, and he's going up against Garcia, who's 0-2 in the UFC. Fernie Garcia has absolutely no upside. This is a showcase fight. Nakamura can win this fight anywhere he wants, as long as he doesn't get too excited at first and blow his gas tank. But he should win this in the first round. 5 of his 7 wins are first-round finishes. He can take you to the ground and submit. He can stand on the feet and knock people out. This price is too high. Just wait. Take Nakamura inside the distance. Use it as a parlay piece. But yeah, Fernie Garcia is being fed to the wolves here on this one. So Nakamura should make it 8-0. Giga Chikadze and Alex Caceres. We have not seen Giga in a while. Hasn't fought in a year and a half. At first, I was surprised he was a little bit of a favorite. I'm sorry. I was surprised he was this big of a favorite, and I looked into it, and now I think this is priced accurately. I think Giga rolls in this one. So his last fight against Calvin Kattar, he needed 5 surgeries after that fight. But he says he's been ready for a year, and he's been itching to go, and he's had fights fall through and get canceled, and he is a great kickboxer, powerful leg kicks and strikes. He got beat up against Kattar, but listen, he was having success early. There was that moment where he went for a kick, he slipped, fell down, Kattar jumped on him, and then it was just Kattar for the rest of the fight. Caceres is a long striker, good kicks and strikes, decent ground game. His level of competition, though, this is a big step up. So, decision against Daniel Pineda. Julian Erosa, he lands with a beautiful kick early in that fight. Loses to Sadiq Youssef. Okay. Wins against Seung Choi, but this was, way back in 2021. Kevin Kroom. So this is just a massive step up, and I think Caceres is going to be a little bit outclassed on the feet. When you do the research on Giga, you'll find Giga's been working very hard. He's itching to get in the ring. He's probably in great shape. I'm not too worried about his injuries. He's had plenty of time to heal up, and it just sounds like he has been waiting in the wings, ready to come out. So I think the time off is more than enough for Giga to be 100%. I think he's too much. Giga's a play here. I don't want to take a finish here. I don't want to mess with any distance because, Giga's got the power. I mean, Giga's leg kicks are so brutal. I mean, he could easily damage Caceres up. Maybe we get some kind of KO, but it probably goes the distance. My guess is Giga wins, but the only thing I'll play in this one is Giga money line. All right. Next fight, co-main event. Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann. I have no idea why this is the co-main event. I have no idea why we needed this rematch. But here we are. Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann 2. So Anthony Smith submitted Spann in their first matchup. In Spann's last fight, he got submitted as well with a really nice choke on the ground by Nikita Krylov. So he's fighting Anthony Smith, who submitted him. He got submitted in his last one. I mean, clearly that's got to be the route that Anthony Smith is going to take. I just don't know if Anthony Smith has it in him anymore. He just didn't look great. in his last fight. This guy has been through a lot of wear and tear. I mean, this guy's 36-18. I mean, this is a guy that's, almost coming up on 56 professional fights. I don't know if this is Anthony Smith's retirement fight. He doesn't seem like it, but he's definitely slowing down. He's got a really bright future in front of the camera as a commentator. This fight kind of confuses me. I mean, Ryan Spann, when he knocked out Dominic Reyes, he, had the quote where he's like, "Oh, I'm actually training now." So it's like, okay, does he come out and absolutely spark Anthony Smith, and then that's it for Anthony Smith, or does Smith get him on the ground and work another submission? I think this is a stay away, but I gotta be honest. Based on what I saw from Anthony Smith in his last one, I don't know if he's got the speed to keep up with Spann. I think Spann's going to be one step ahead of him. Wouldn't surprise me if Spann's power catches Anthony Smith sooner rather than later in this one. So I'll lean Ryan Spann. Not going to get to the window on it because the submission does worry me. But yeah, I'll take Ryan Spann. And finally, the biggest favorite on the card, Max Holloway versus Korean Zombie. All accounts point to this being Korean Zombie's retirement fight. Quite the send-off. They're sending him into the ring against Holloway, who's arguably the best pound-for-pound striker and boxer in the UFC. I mean, listen, we know Holloway is going to be so lightning quick against Korean Zombie. Korean Zombie, 36 years old. He's not exactly known for being elusive. Holloway is he's just too good. I mean, listen, in the last the last 9 years, we'll call it 9 years, Max Holloway has lost to Dustin Poirier and Alexander Volkanovski. That's it. Now, he lost to Volkanovski multiple times, but if those are the only guys you're using you're going to roll through Korean Zombie. No need to overthink this one. It's Max who's going to come out victorious. However, here's the problem. Korean Zombie was finished by Volkanovski, but not until round 4. And his only other finish in the last 10 years was to Yair Rodriguez with that insane elbow with 1 second left in the fight. So Korean Zombie is tough to finish. I think you could be sneaky and you could take this to go the distance. We know Holloway's going to piece him up on the feet. My guess is Korean Zombie is going to be a mess at the end. I don't know. Maybe Holloway doesn't want to completely humiliate him on his retirement fight and he takes it easy later, but Zombie's tough. Holloway's good at piecing guys up. He doesn't really go in for the kill shot a whole lot. So you could probably wait and take some props on this one to go the distance to be sneaky. Or if you don't want to overthink it, you take Holloway on the money line, find a couple of other parlay pieces, and just go from there. So let's do a quick little recap here of all of the fights. Seung Choi, Jarno, Errens. Slight lean to Choi, but no way I'm paying minus 250 on that one. JJ Aldrich easily over Lian. Billy Goff and Kinoshita. It's a really tough one. Slight lean to Kinoshita because he may have the better cardio. Kenan, Seung, and Bedoya. Slight lean to Bedoya. No way I'm paying that price. Love that one to start round 2. Chidi, Njokuani, and Oleksiejczuk. Hard to say what kind of Chidi, Njokuani we're going to get. I like it to start round 2 ever so slightly into Oleksiejczuk. Kazama and Armfield, love that fight to go the distance. I think they're pretty evenly matched. Waldo, Cortes-Acosta, and Lukasz, Brezski. I'm going to lean Brezski as the big underdog. I think he's worth a sprinkle. Parker Porter, I like over Junior Tafa. He's a slight underdog as well. Blanchfield, I like over Taila Santos. Nakamura inside the distance, maybe even Nakamura round 1 against Fernie Garcia. Giga Chikadze, I like him over Alex Caceres. Anthony Smith and Ryan Spann. I lean Spann on the feet because I think Anthony Smith is slowing down. And then Max Holloway. I like him to win, but maybe sprinkle Max to win by decision. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for UFC Singapore breakdown. Don't forget to get all of our plays at wagertalk.com and let me know in the comment section if you disagree with any plays, if you agree with the plays. I will also be coming out with Dana White Contender Series picks here probably on Monday before those fights happen, and all those plays can be found on wagertalk.com. Give us a like and subscribe. Leave your comments. Let me know what you like and don't like. Good luck on all your bets, and we'll see you everyone next time.